We summoned her as a joke. Now we can't wake up. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows on our faces, making us look like gothic gargoyles. Rain lashed against the windows of Liam's attic, turning the room into a claustrophobic bubble. We, Liam, Maya, Chloe, and I were huddled around a cheap plastic Ouija board, the kind you buy at a novelty store, the kind that's more likely to summon dust bunnies than demons. "All right, who's going to ask the first question?" Liam asked, his voice a nervous tremor attempting to sound confident. We were doing this as a joke. A stupid, childish sleepover activity fueled by cheap pizza and a shared love for bad horror movies. Nobody actually believed this thing would work. Maya, ever the daredevil, volunteered. "Is there anyone present with us tonight?" Her fingers trembled slightly on the planchette. We waited. The silence was broken only by the relentless rain and the pounding of my own heart. Then, slowly, agonizingly slow, the planchette began to move. It wobbled, hesitated, and then slid with unnerving certainty toward the word, yes. The collective gasp went around the circle. Chloe giggled, a nervous, high-pitched sound. "Okay, someone's pushing it." "I swear, I'm not touching it," Maya insisted, her eyes wide. Liam, playing along, cleared his throat. "Who are you?" Again, the planchette danced. This time, it spelled out a name. Ellara. Illara, I repeated, a shiver crawling down my spine despite myself. Sounds nice. More questions followed. We asked silly things, poking fun at the supposed spirit. What was her favorite color? Black. Did she like pizza? No. We laughed, relieved that nothing genuinely spooky was happening. It was all a harmless game. Then, Liam, fueled by bravado and probably too much Mountain Dew, asked the question that changed everything. "Illara, do you want to play with us?" The planchette shot across the board, landing firmly on yes. We laughed again, dismissing it. We thanked Illara for her time, said our goodbyes, and packed the Ouija board away, chuckling about how easily spooked we were. I woke up the next morning to the sound of rain against the window. Groggily, I reached for my phone, only to see the date, October 27th. The same date as the night before. Huh, I muttered, dismissing it as a weird glitch. Maybe my phone had frozen, but as the day unfolded, a creeping sense of déjà vu washed over me. Everything was exactly the same. The stale coffee at the diner, the conversation with my boss, even the woman walking her poodle in the park was wearing the same hideous sweater. By evening, panic set in. I called Liam. "Dude, is your phone messing up? It says it's October 27th again." There was a long pause on the other end. "You too?" I thought I was losing it. We met at Liam's attic, the rain once again a relentless backdrop to our growing dread. Maya and Chloe were already there, their faces pale and etched with fear. "The Ouija board," Chloe whispered, her voice trembling. "It has to be the Ouija board." We were trapped, reliving the same night, over and over again. The second time around, we tried to ignore the board. We stayed away from the attic, hoping to break the loop through sheer force of will, but it was no use. The same events unfolded relentlessly like a twisted script. The third time, things started to change. The rain grew heavier, almost biblical in its intensity. Shadows flickered in the periphery of our vision. We heard whispers, faint and distorted, like voices played in reverse. The clock in Liam's kitchen started running backward. Then, Illara made her presence truly known. During our forced Ouija session, the planchette moved with a violent, erratic energy, spelling out cryptic messages. "You invited me. Now you'll pay. Never wake up." Ghostly figures began to appear in the corners of our eyes. Fleeting glimpses of a woman with long, dark hair and eyes that burned like coal. The air grew cold, heavy with a presence that felt malevolent and hungry. The time loops grew shorter, more intense. The line between reality and nightmare blurred. Memory became unreliable. We forgot things, important things, like where we lived, our birthdays, even each other's names. One loop. I found myself staring at my reflection in a shattered mirror, my face a grotesque mask of fear. I didn't recognize myself. Another. I saw Chloe standing in the middle of the room, her eyes wide and vacant, chanting something in a language I didn't understand. Liam started having violent outbursts, smashing furniture and screaming at unseen entities. Maya became withdrawn, muttering about a bargain she made with Alara to escape the loop. The screams grew louder, closer. They echoed not just in our waking hours but in our dreams, weaving themselves into a tapestry of terror. The dream logic became terrifying, nonsensical. We were trapped in a perpetual nightmare, a carnival of horrors orchestrated by a force we couldn't comprehend. We tried everything to break the loop. We burned the Ouija board. We performed elaborate rituals, chanting incantations we found on the internet. We even tried to kill ourselves, hoping to escape the torment through oblivion. But nothing worked. We always woke up, back in Liam's attic, the rain lashing against the windows, the date stubbornly fixed on October 27th. Then came the final loop. The attic was plunged into darkness. The rain had stopped, replaced by an unnerving silence. The air was thick with a suffocating pressure. We were huddled together, trembling, waiting for the inevitable. A voice, cold and hollow, echoed through the room. It wasn't a whisper, but a booming pronouncement that vibrated in our bones. "You summoned me as a joke," the voice said. "Now you will become the joke." The darkness deepened. We felt hands, cold and skeletal, reaching for us, pulling us into the abyss. We screamed, but no sound escaped our lips. Then everything went black. I woke up. I was lying in my bed, the sun streaming through the window. The date on my phone read October 28th. I was free. Relief washed over me, so intense it almost brought me to my knees. It was over. We had escaped. I called Liam, Maya, and Chloe, eager to share the good news. But none of them answered. Their phones went straight to voicemail. Confused, I drove to Liam's house. The door was unlocked. I called out his name, but there was no response. The attic door was slightly ajar. Hesitantly, I pushed it open. The scene that greeted me made my blood run cold. Liam, Maya, and Chloe were huddled around the Ouija board, their eyes wide and vacant, their faces frozen in expressions of utter terror. They were completely still, like statues. And then I saw it, reflected in the dust-covered mirror. I saw not my own reflection, but the face of Alara, her eyes burning like coal, a sinister smile twisting her lips. The realization crashed over me with the force of a tidal wave. We never woke up. This wasn't freedom. This was just another layer of the nightmare. Another loop, more insidious and terrifying than the last. We were still trapped, and Alara was here with us, inside us, forever.